Well, the worst thing that could happen has happened.
I don't like Irma. I dislike Irma very much. 142 miles per hour.
What is the most important thing to get across to people?
The cars were flooded and
we sort of all become Ken and Maro's on your side team players.
Sorry, it's kind of painful out here. The rain is. It's coming in so hard.
We survived a storm 11 months ago, and we can survive this one again.
Stay with me, brace it, hang on.
It might be a monster of a storm, but we can handle it here.
We are going to be ready for whatever Irma has to dish out.
It's bringing out the best of this community.
We've seen so many people in our own community rally together to be there for each other.
This community will be strong. This community will get through it. This community will be okay.
And this is the last Irma's got to offer, folks.
And I knew that there was no need to panic because I knew that we were on your side.
But she's tried to beat us down. She will not do it. There we go.
And we are First Coast strong. We want to welcome you here to Good Morning Jacksonville on this Wednesday morning. I'm Keitha Nelson.
And I'm Lindsay Boach in for Lewis Turner. And people all across the First Coast are putting their pieces back together, their lives, after Hurricane Irma plowed from the south of the state all the way up through the north.
We know at this hour more than 100,000 people are still without power and some homes are still flooded. First Coast News is on your side through it all.
Later this morning, Mayor Lenny Curry is going to be speaking about his funding plan to help organizations affected by Hurricane Irma.
First Coast News' Monica Garcia will join us live in just a few minutes. She's going to have the very latest details on that. And out in Volano Beach, the damage is extensive. Houses just toppled over, trees through roofs. First Coast News' Alex Osiris is in St. Johns County with a look at the damage there. That's in just 3 minutes. But first, we have got to check in with our storm expert meteorologist Mike Prangley for a look at today's forecast.
Yeah,
Good
hey,
morning,
the
Mike.
news is getting better. I know we got a long way to go, but check this out. 62 degrees to start this morning near a record low. The important part about this is, yes, low dew points, low true humidity. That'll help our evaporation rates across the area today. If we do get a pop-up shower, that's Georgia by late today. We will start to see an increase in some of those showers and storms Thursday, Friday, but no major fronts or widespread heavy rain. Big after the storm impacts do continue, though, today in the form of, yes, the Black Creek and the Santa Fe rivers still in that major flood range. Let's go straight, though, into areas of Middleburg. In Middleburg, you've got a beautiful day, a temperature reaching 88 degrees, just a slight chance of rain. But look at all this green on the map. That's the flood warning for the North and South Fork. And we're concerned because that water level still up to 21.3 feet. It affects homes at 20 feet. Likely falling, though, back closer to normal by Friday. And then some possible road closures. We're concerned about the flood warning on the Santa Fe, rising river levels to a possible record crest on Friday. So things not normal until next week. We'll take a closer look at more area creeks and rivers, but let's get to Katie Jeffries. I missed you, Katie, in that VyStar Credit Union Traffic Center.
I missed you guys too, but we listened to you throughout the storm, so it's like you were there with us. So let's take a look out there. If you're traveling along Heckscher, I wanted to remind you that the Brown Creek Bridge, that is still closed at the moment. So that's pretty unfortunate. So that means if you have to head to Amelia Island, you need to take either State Road 200 or the St. Johns River Ferry when it reopens, because St. Johns River Ferry is still out of service. I know taking State Road 200 is a long detour, but until that bridge can be repaired, that's kind of your best option. Also, if you are in the Bradford County area, State Road 18, the New River Bridge, there's still water across that bridge, so that's why all lanes are blocked there. Keitha.
Thanks for that, Katie. Black Creek in Clay County, my gosh, dealing with some major flooding issues there. Now, we have some helicopter video where you can see the water is almost up to the second floor in many homes. Homes in San Marco were also affected by the historic flooding. Several businesses were forced to close, and the most jarring visual image we've seen after Irma is a home in Volano Beach. The dunes were no match for Irma's forceful winds, and the home just toppled over. First Coast News' Alex Osiris is live in Volano Beach this morning at another home with some extensive damage.
Keitha, good morning. And here in Volano Beach, where tens of thousands of people across the county are without power, it's the same situation here. That's why it's so dark this morning. And you can see, if you can, just that garage door. Well, above it is a condo with the siding peeled back. We've also seen telephone poles all along A1A down our drive here that, they are just sideways. They were blown over by the wind, so something that is going to take a lot of work to start and rebuild. Now, we did get our first look at Volano Beach yesterday after the bridges were reopened, something that evacuees also had the chance to do. We met a woman actually waiting in St. Augustine to come over to Volano Beach to check on her friend's home. They had evacuated, so she was coming over, checking on her neighbor, something that we all know First Coast Strong is all about. Now, Senator Marco Rubio was also in St. Johns County touring the damage with Congressman DeSantis in Rutherford, going around seeing exactly how Irma impacted our First Coast. Now, here's Rubio on Irma's trail of destruction.
Our job now at the federal level is to try to ensure that some of the federal assistance becomes available quickly, and it ranges from reimbursement to local governments for the extraordinary expenditures that they're making and will continue to make for some time to come to the individuals.
Those plans just starting to get in place. Now, we all know Volano Beach was hit hard, but another area that we've been watching, San Marco, that's where we join my colleague, Rob Nesbitt. Rob?
Alex, earlier in the show, they did mention how businesses here in San Marco are still closed and without power. Well, it's also residents here who are in the dark, and there's still standing water. That's also extremely frustrating. This police cruiser is behind me to make sure no traffic goes that way down San Marco Boulevard because it is still closed off from flooding, water that will just not receive. Yesterday, residents in this area, they were able to finally get back into their homes to check on damage and see what was going on inside while they were evacuated here in Zone B. The water, it took a toll. There was a resident who actually put his couch and Lazy Boy recliner out on the porch so that it could dry out. That was the best way he could get the water dry out of his furniture. One resident, Caroline Davidson, she went through her apartment. We followed her. She had serious damage, and it was a tough week aside from Irma for her.
We won't recede for days, if not a week. It'll recede slowly. What happened was we had evacuated a number of zones because we knew that this was going to be a major storm, major impact. And then yesterday morning, the information that came to us, we were getting Category 3 hurricane surge in a tropical storm.
Here in San Marco, JEA website is reporting multiple outages. In Jacksonville, there's around 108,000 people who are without power and still in the dark this morning, more than 48 hours after Irma. In Jacksonville, I'm Rob Nesbitt, reporting First Coast News on your side. Now we're going to send things over to Dorsina, who is live in Clay County. Dorsina?
Good morning. We are at Black Creek, and you were talking about people that are out of power. There's about 37,000 people that are without power here in Clay County, but there is good news. Right now, we've seen this recede even since we've been here just a couple hours ago. It was at the line where you could see nothing but water, but now we're seeing more road. We're seeing a lot of grass. But Mother Nature definitely took a lot of people here in Clay County by surprise. We have some video that we can show you. Yesterday, we had gotten a boat tour of some of the damaged areas here. We saw a lot of houses underwater. We even saw just some rooftops. We weren't able to even see the houses. We saw a truck that was completely submerged, that was underwater. A lot of damaged homes that we saw, and we'll see more of those today when we go on a boat tour with Governor Rick Scott, who's going to show us just a little bit of the Black Creek area and what was left behind from Irma. So we're looking forward to seeing some of that. But we did know that that the boat ramps are closed, that we were told yesterday from emergency management that they were closing the boat ramps so they can get out and help people who needed to be rescued. So far, they said there are no reported deaths in the area, so that is a very good thing. But we also know that volunteers are needed. So if you would like to volunteer, we have some of that information for you. They told us that volunteers need to check in first. A lot of people want to help, and that's a very good thing. It's a very good problem to have, but they said that they want people to be a little bit more organized in it, so they would like for you to check in here at Clay County before you go out trying to volunteer and get in these waters. Another thing that we were told by some of the residents here yesterday was that there are creatures in these waters, so they're not safe to just go in and hang out or to do boat tours around just to kind of see the damage. You have to be responsible about it because there are snakes, there are gators out here, and they want everyone to be as safe as possible. So though Irma has passed, there are a few things that are left behind that we should be careful about. We will continue to stay out here and keep you updated about what's happening in Clay County. For now, we'll send it back to the newsroom. Good morning, Monica. Monica Garcia live from the newsroom this morning. Mayor Lenny Curry is expected to make an announcement about relief funding coming our way, so that's some good news there. In the meantime, the mayor's focus is on bringing the city together and getting things back to normal as much as we can right now. Those three variables, funding, unity, and recovery, is what will be ahead over the next few days and even into the months it will take to rebuild the city. The mayor is expected to provide more information about funding later this morning around 10 a.m. Yesterday, the mayor stayed busy. First, he was with Governor Rick Scott as the two went up into an helicopter and took an aerial tour across the First Coast to assess flooded areas. And then in the afternoon, the mayor was with the Jaguars. It's been officially announced that the Jaguars' home opener against the Tennessee Titans will go on this Sunday at Everbank Field. Shad Khan is donating $1 million to the Florida First Coast Relief Fund to help in the aftermath of Hurricane Irma. Mayor Curry talked about the impact Irma is still having on the First Coast during an interview on the telephone with the Today Show yesterday morning.
Are able to fund the needs that we have to begin rebuilding and recovering as we work with the federal government, Senator Rubio, the president, and the state, the governor of the state of Florida, to get our FEMA and state reimbursements. We can get to work now. We're in good order.
Well, going back to the decision to still have the Jags home opener here at Everbank Field this Sunday, the mayor says the game isn't just about football, but about uniting the city and getting things back to normal. The team is also giving away 5,000 tickets to first responders as well as residents impacted by the storm. From the newsroom, I'm Monica Garcia, First Coast News on your side.
All right, thank you, Monica. 6:11 is your time. First responders have come to Florida from all across the nation, and a local restaurant is giving back. Those details just ahead.
Great to be with you. We've got good news on the Black Creek at Middleburg. The creek levels quickly receding now. We'll take a look at why and also concerns on the Santa Fe coming up. Good morning. Thanks for waking up with us. And it's First Coast strong again today. And those temperatures, low dew points, lower temperatures, high evaporation rates. The news is getting better. We said it would be better and get better. And as we get through this together, we're talking about just a low chance of a pop-up shower as we head into 3 o'clock. That's mainly north of I-10. And it looks like these rain amounts not on the heavy or widespread side. In fact, most of us stay dry. So some good cleanup weather today. More blue skies and those temperatures. Let's enjoy them. A nice taste of fall. Now, fall officially begins next Friday, but we got a little bit out there today, especially as we wake up near record lows, temperatures mid to upper 80s. Let's go around the area. After storm impacts, we're still concerned about the Black Creek and Santa Fe. So we'll start with the Black Creek, Middleburg. A lot of folks tuning in. A big shout out to Middleburg. You're going to have a sunny high today, 88. Just a low chance of rain, but here's the best news of all. We've confirmed this morning. We've got that latest level falling on the Black Creek down to 21.3, and it looks like things getting back to normal as soon as Friday. News not as good on the Santa Fe. We'll take a look at that, but first, Katie Jeffries in the ViStar Credit Union Traffic Center.
Thank you so much, Mike. So let's talk about those roadways as you make your way out the door. Around 8:30 last night, we got an alert from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office about a gas leak that had closed Hendricks and Nera, and they said that it would be closed until further notice. We haven't received an update on it yet, so you could still see crews and possibly closures in that area of San Marco. So please do look out for that. Also, if you're traveling in the Clay County area, remember that Black Creek, you really want to be careful along those side roads that run parallel to the Black Creek, but your main roads like Blanding and US 17 have not heard of any closures on those roadways. It's those side roadways near the Black Creek. You got to be really careful. Also, if you're traveling maybe in the Jekyll Island area, look out for closures along the Jekyll Island Causeway from Riverview Drive to US 17 Ocean Highway there, of course, because of Hurricane Irma. Lindsay.
All right, thank you, Katie. Well, we got a message on Facebook this morning from Freddy's Frozen Custard. The steak burger joint is offering free meals for first responders today to thank them for their hard work. There is a location in Orange Park on Blanding Boulevard and another location on Beach Boulevard.
That's nice. All right, your time now, 6:16. Well, Hurricane Matthew hit the First Coast nearly 1 year ago, and there's one neighborhood now dealing with the same flooding problem after Hurricane Irma. Katie Jeffries takes us through the sanctuary in just 2 minutes.
Flooded twice within a year. That is what some families are facing right now, just recovering from Hurricane Matthew, only to have damage again from Irma. I went to the Sanctuary neighborhood in Jacksonville Beach to see what they're going through for myself.
It's like a foreshadowing of what's to come. Seeing water covering the entrance to the Sanctuary at Jacksonville Beach. Tucked back near the Intracoastal, in the span of 11 months, they have faced flooding from 2 hurricanes.
Water last time with Matthew went all through the house, and it was up to here, and so we were displaced up until March.
During Matthew, they left. But for Irma, they wanted to stay and try and protect their homes.
We were here, we couldn't leave, like that was it. You know, it was, and the surge was like, I mean, this just all looked like a river and a lake, and everything was just, the wind was whipping, and I mean, it was really terrifying.
And the water kept rising. To add to the fear, it was all happening in the complete darkness of night.
We saw water come right up to the sandbags. I mean, we're sitting here with our flashlights, like looking at it.
Feeling panic as the water started to rise around the house.
All electronics are unplugged.
Thankfully, the sandbags and tape held. No water came in. But even after the storm passed, the worry of water was still there.
I don't know what to expect for high tide.
The possibility of another surge has neighbors on edge, out surveying the damage. Pieces of normalcy are coming back to the neighborhood, like walking the dog or riding a bike, but also checking to make sure everyone made it through a very frightening night. As a neighborhood, once again, begins a cleanup process with which they've become all too familiar.
They're going through that pretty painful process again, many of them of having to kind of gut their homes and then try and start that rebuilding process once again. And guys, I was talking to them, and some people, they talked about some lessons learned from Matthew. They tried more sandbags, caulking their windows, taping, and for some people that worked. Other people, it was just too much water and it came in their house once again, which I can't fathom, having to remodel your home
and then have that happen again.
Have to do it again.
It's too much. But, you know, like you said, they're going to rebuild. They plan on staying right here on the First Coast.
Exactly.
Wow.
All right, but folks who are cleaning up today, yesterday we had great weather to clean up today. Great weather again.
We're going to keep it going.
Good.
Now, not totally dry like yesterday, a pop-up shower in Whitecross, but for the most part, yes.
All right, good news.
Looking about good news. And what's left of Irma swirling to the northwest, and we've got a beautiful start this morning, most areas in the 60s. And we start with Jose. We've been saying no way, Jose. And yes, the upper level winds turn to the southwest and guide it away from Jacksonville and the First Coast. We'll have a few extra rip currents from that, so keep in mind it's going to stay a bit rough at the beach. A lot of beach erosion, of course, with the pounding. We had some breakers over 20 feet, so it's going to take a while to get back to normal at the beach as well. Now, we take a look at Futurecast. We said mainly dry. There's your isolated showers, mainly Waycross to Folkestone late this afternoon. But let's look at the after-storm impact. The big thing to watch on this is the Santa Fe. The Black Creek is now falling, but look at all this green. So let's go right into areas of Alachua County. Possible road closures for folks returning to Florida. That's the I-75 corridor in Alachua and Columbia counties, because a record crest is possible over a foot above average as we head into Friday, and it won't get back to normal until the middle of next week. Better news on the St. Mary's and the Black Creek. Notice the St. Mary's is now falling. It affects homes at 19 feet, still at 21.8 feet, but getting back home, it looks like by tomorrow as it drops much quicker. Now today we've got our beautiful weather day here, Katie. Mid to upper 80s. We do have a slight increase in storms as we go into Thursday, Friday, a little more humidity to work with, but I'm ready for some football. How about you? Looks nice for the Jags on Sunday.
I know that I heard the Jags played a great game on Sunday. I didn't get to see it because I was on hurricane coverage, but I heard they played a great game, so I can't wait to see them on Sunday. Let's take a look outside right now, or rather, let's take a look towards your something we want to talk about traffic lights being out. So if you are driving and you see a red light that's out, or a red flashing light, you want to treat it like a stop sign. If it's a yellow flashing light, you want to yield. If there's no power, treat that like a four-way stop. And I'm not going to shake the finger at anybody, but I saw a lot of people kind of just blowing through those traffic lights that were out. You really need to slow down and treat it like a four-way stop, or else there could be some serious accidents. In the Lake City area, I wanted to warn you about some water across the roadway at US 441 and Northeast Drew Road. So look out for that. There's still that water across the road there. If you're traveling along I-95 and I-75, you want to be really careful today. Just expect that increased traffic because there are power trucks. There are, of course, fuel trucks, evacuees returning. So all that traffic that was headed north last week, you're going to see heavy traffic headed south in the coming days. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Katie. It's now 23 minutes past the hour. Now, after a natural disaster, companies may call you for insurance claims, outages, or other damages. But up next, we're going to give you some tips from JEA on how to avoid a scam, because they're out there lurking. We're back in 2 minutes. And welcome back. You're watching Good Morning Jacksonville on this Wednesday morning. It is now 26 minutes past the hour. JEA is warning its customers to beware of scam calls asking for your bank, credit card, or other financial information. They say an employee cannot take that information over the phone and they will not show up at your door unannounced. Now, if you do see suspicious activity, ask for an ID. Contact JEA at the number. It's right there for you on your screen. That's 665-6000. And you do not let that person into your home if you're suspicious or unsure about why they're actually there.
I just want to pass on a quick note I just saw on Instagram from 904 Happy Hour. They're doing a Memorial Park cleanup today, and that will be at 8 o'clock. They're asking you to bring gloves, rakes, and wear closed-toed shoes. So if you'd like to help clean up, you can do that at Memorial Park at 8 o'clock starting today.
All right.
6:27 is your time. Still ahead on Good Morning Jacksonville. First responders have come across the nation to help with recovery efforts. Hear from them on why this is so important. And after being cooped up for several days, people took to the ocean for some relaxation. How Irma helped surfers, coming up at 6:30.
From First Coast News, this is Good Morning Jacksonville.
Developing right now at 6:30, JSO is searching for the gunman who fatally shot a 14-year-old. Now, this happened on the city's west side in the 4600 block of Riker Road. Police say 3 teens are now being questioned. Now, on the Duval County, Nassau County line, drivers are heading to Amelia Island and Huguenot Park, and they're forced to take a detour.
Yeah, Browns Creek Bridge on Heckscher Drive is shut down due to erosion and damaged concrete. The Florida Department of Transportation says it'll take about a week to repair and will put it as an emergency order.
And I'm Alex Osiris in Volano Beach this morning, where evacuees who returned yesterday got their first look at some of the damage. Senator Marco Rubio touring St. Johns County with several congressmen. We'll have more on what they say about the cleanup efforts and how the First Coast can remain strong coming up.
Hey, Tiff.
Good morning. Good news. Okay, so we're getting there. Here on Wednesday, we're talking about a beautiful weather day. You go outside. Oh my goodness, was it so nice. In fact, we've got middle 60s for those without power. This is just what the meteorologist ordered for you. But we not just have the low temperatures, but low dew points. So we measure the humidity, and I'm excited because once that sun pops out, our evaporation rates go way up. Low dew points, high evaporation rates, sunrise 7:10. I want to see some of your postcard pics. But again, we're still taking baby steps. We still have some purple on our after storm impacts. That's along the Black Creek, although it's finally falling. And the Santa Fe I'm most concerned about. So a lot of green on the map, not rain today. That's going to be the river flooding. St. Mary's River at McClenny still impacting homes. We got 21.8 feet, but here's the key. It is falling, and I think you can get back home by Thursday, especially in those low-level and low-lying areas. St. George, here you go, Georgia, back to McClenny, a sunny high of 89. As we go to Middleburg, a beautiful day, 88, just a slight chance of a shower, but we do have some flood warnings. We'll take a latest look at the Black Creek coming right up. Let's get to Katie Jeffries, and she just goes and goes. She's more energized than that Energizer bunny. How's it looking, Katie?
I don't know. I'm pretty hopped up on caffeine. I think that's all that's keeping me going at this point. Good morning, guys. All right, so if you're headed out the door, I wanted to let you know there was a vehicle fire 95 southbound near that exit for Pecan Park Road. So look out for that right shoulder there to be blocked and a bit of an onlooker delay. Now, you heard Lindsay and Keith talking at the top of the show about the Browns Creek Bridge. This is kind of where it is to show it to you on a map. It's outside of 295 along Heckscher, and all those lanes there are still blocked. So if you're trying to get towards Amelia Island, it's a long detour, but you need to go up to State Road 200 and use that to be able to get into the Amelia Island area. Or you could use the St. Johns River Ferry once it comes back into service, and it's not back into service just yet. If you're in Bradford County, State Road 18, the new river bridge, that has all lanes blocked because of some flooding. So keep that in mind if you're in Bradford County as well. Lindsay.
Well, first responders from around the country are in Jacksonville this morning, ready and willing to help. Military vehicles, mobile command centers, rescue boats, and vehicles are staged in southeast Jacksonville. Many of the crews have been working since the height of the storm to get people out of their flooded homes. We spoke to a crew from New Orleans who arrived yesterday after helping rescue residents from Texas from Hurricane Harvey.
We went through it in 2005 with Hurricane Katrina, and we want to pay it forward whenever possible. And we'll be continuing to do that as long as I'm on the job.
The first responders say when they got the call to come help, they didn't think twice about heading to Florida, and they plan to stay as long as they're needed.
Well, a warm breakfast and some hot coffee, that can make a world of difference. And that is what people at Jacksonville Beach told us yesterday morning as they arrived at Maple Street Biscuit Company early Tuesday morning. It was one of the first restaurants to reopen in the Beaches area. And I tell you what, they had a long line. Many customers told us after days of eating snacks and packaged food, y'all know what we're talking about. They were very excited to sit down and have an actual meal. And that comfort is something that employees at Maple Street Biscuit said they were happy to provide.
We're just so grateful that we have the resources and the lights and electricity, power, food, and team that can come in to serve the community. Especially after all that's happened, this is one way that we want to give back.
They weren't even sure if they were going to be able to open up, but they were able to serve people yesterday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And if you're wondering, their question of the day, how you pick up your order, they asked, what would you splurge on to buy? And a lot of the answers we heard were generators and a new air conditioner. We heard those answers several times. Keitha.
Well, more businesses are actually opening up for partial or normal hours today, and we want to know where.
Use the hashtag OpenNowFCN on social media so we can let the viewers know. We have also posted a list on our website, firstcoastnews.com. Well, after being cooped up for a couple of days, Jacksonville residents couldn't wait to get back on the beach. Storm expert meteorologist Steve Fundero joined them for a little bit of fun.
What seemed like a normal beach day was a bit different today.
I'm just coming out, I'm getting the therapy before I have to deal with the insurance companies. That was a pretty little wave you got there.
Many around the First Coast
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
hit the beaches for some much needed time off from Irma.
Trees down, definitely on our properties, but we're gonna get them cleaned up. That's what I'm gonna do tomorrow.
We highly advise you stay out of the water due to the dangerous rip currents today.
But for James Bass and plenty other surfers, today was all about the surf. A powerful swell behind the storm has surfers smiling ear to ear.
Tell me about the waves. The waves are great. Hopefully with more tide and push, they'll get bigger.
On the other side of the pier,
patience. If it was easy, it'd be called catching.
Leonard Boger is hoping the catch
Flounder, grouper, you got reds.
will relieve the stress he had, as his home on the west side flooded early Monday morning.
The rain collected around the house outside of our den, and evidently there was a place for it to get in.
Holy, look at that set out there.
Sometimes it just takes a little bit of sunshine to help life return to normal. Coming down here has kind of been like a reset button for
Yes,
you, yeah?
yes, definitely a reset button.
A big, big reset button. All right, there you go. From Jack's Beach, Steve Fundero, First Coast News, on your side.
Button for sure. All right, thanks for that, Steve. Your time now 6:36 on this Wednesday morning. Check this out. There's someone on a lawnmower. A gentleman. Can you see it? This is the video. He is a mayor, so we're going to tell you why the police are the ones under fire after this slow speed chase. It's a pretty interesting one. And we are halfway through the week. Yes, folks, it is Wednesday, hump day, and meteorologist Mike Prangley has your clean up forecast. We're back in 2 minutes.
Oh, yes. All right, happy Wednesday, getting back First Coast strong. That's what it's all about. What's left of Irma spinning across Tennessee and actually helping to wrap in some drier air. In fact, we're talking about a great weather day, lower temperatures, dew points, high evaporation rates, plenty of sunshine. Sunrise at 7:10, a high in the middle to upper 80s. So can't get too excited too yet. Still a lot of flood warnings on the map in greens, but the areas to pick out. Now I think things will continue to improve on the Black Creek, St. Mary's, up into southeast Georgia, even down toward Hastings, where they've had high water, but it's the area to watch is this, Columbia County to Santa Fe here, and we're talking about possible road closures along I-75. That's Alachua and Columbia County. Notice High Springs, your high of 88. At least the weather will be nice, but unfortunately another foot of a water rise as we head into Friday. So notice 35.9 feet, which would be a record crest and probably not back to normal until next week. So as the weather wheel goes, enjoy that taste of fall this morning. It feels great, low to mid 60s. And as we head through the afternoon, plenty of sunshine, just a slight chance of a pop-up shower or storm with a high of 87 degrees. Now coming up, we will start to see an increase in some storms. And that QPF, how much rain is on the way, is also important for our creeks and rivers. We'll take a close look and your weekend. But first, she's still going strong. Katie Jeffries. Kate.
Thank you so much, Mike. All right, so let's talk about what's going on out there on your roadways. Buckman Bridge, the southbound side, that's the side that leads you towards the Mandarin area. You've got a broken down car in the right lane, and that's why you're already starting to see some delays forming 12 minutes, and that's going to rise to go from Blanding over towards I-95. In the San Marco area around 8:30 last night, there was a gas leak near Hendricks and Naira Street. So look out for crews there. We heard that it could be closed, so you might see some delays still in that area. St. Augustine, St. Johns County, also all of your bridges are open, but of course be careful for any storm debris, nails, trees down, anything like that that might be in the roadways. If you're traveling to the Jekyll Island Causeway, it's kind of closed, it looks like, in both directions from Riverview Drive to US 17 Ocean Highway, so keep that in mind as well. Lindsay.
All right, 6:41 is your time. The 6 Baltimore police officers involved in the deadly arrest of Freddie Gray won't face federal charges. Gray died of a broken neck after riding without a seatbelt in a police transport van. Cell phone video of his arrest went viral and sparked days of protests. All 6 officers faced state charges. 3 were acquitted and charges against the other 3 were dropped. The Supreme Court has handed President Trump a win on his travel ban. The court blocked a federal court decision that would have let thousands of refugees enter the United States. Now, the ruling means the Trump administration can now ban refugees from 6 mostly Muslim countries, including Iran, Libya, and Syria. The High Court will hear arguments on the constitutionality of the travel ban next month. A South Carolina police department is under fire for this video of a slow-speed chase involving a tractor and the mayor of a nearby town. The mayor was riding the tractor on a 2-lane road at night with beer. He finally stopped, but he wasn't arrested or given a ticket, and no report was filed. The officers had police from the mayor's town come and pick him up, and someone else drove the lawnmower away. An off-duty Miami-Dade police officer captured this amazing video of a nun with a chainsaw clearing away some debris from Hurricane Irma. Sister Margaret Ann says that she knew that there was a chainsaw in her school's closet, probably for this very reason, so she grabbed it and started helping her neighbors cut down fallen trees. The officer posted this video to his department's Facebook and Twitter pages, where it has been shared thousands of times.
That's some good stuff. Hey, you know what they say, when disaster strikes, it's time to roll up your sleeves and work together for sure. That is some good stuff. Thanks for that, Lindsay. 43 minutes now past the hour on this Wednesday morning, September 13th. Well, President Trump is breaking bread with both Republicans and Democrats, how he hopes to bring them together on tax reform. And Black Creek in Clay County is overflowing right into homes. This video was unbelievable. We're going to take a closer look at the damage. That is coming up in your power block of nonstop news. You're back in just 2 minutes.
.46 is your time, and it's time now for your power block of nonstop news until Good Morning America and the Today Show take over. Well, today President Trump is meeting with Congress, making a push for tax reform. Democrats say that they want incentives for companies that keep jobs in the U.S. and penalties for those that don't. House Speaker Paul Ryan is expected to unveil Republicans' priorities later this morning. And Black Creek in Clay County is dealing with major flooding issues.
It definitely is a problem. This is helicopter video we have right here. You can actually see the water is almost up to the 2nd floor in many of these homes. Dorsina Drakeford is there, and we're going to check in with her in just a couple of minutes. And we want to get to this first. We're going to head to St. Johns County, where many homes in Volcano Beach are dealing with some extensive damage. It's an area hit hard by Hurricane Irma. First Coast News' Alex Osiris is there live this morning with more details. Alex.
Keith, the first rays of sunlight are coming up, giving us a little better picture here. I'll step just off to the side. You can see part of the siding of this condo just stripped away. during those high winds. Some damage down here on the sidewalk as well. This is all something that the evacuees got their first look at yesterday as the bridges opened up again. Now, you know, we've seen telephone poles just at an angle because of how the winds hit Volano Beach. And, you know, we met one woman who was waiting on the other side of the Volano Bridge to come over and see any damage to a friend's home. She was waiting for hours, wanting to call that friend and reassure her of the situation. Many of these people still picking up the pieces from Hurricane Matthew, now hit again by Hurricane Irma. Senator Marco Rubio toured St. Johns County and the First Coast with Congressman DeSantis and Rutherford, now trying just to get a grasp on the damage. Here's what Senator Rubio had to say about Irma's trail of destruction.
Some of the images yesterday of the search and rescue and operations, I just think we're so blessed to have people willing to do it from this room here all the way down to the street.
Now you can see down by that vehicle over there, some more damage to homes, some siding off to the side of the road, dealing with that here in Volano Beach. Now I want to go over to my colleague Rob Nesbitt, who is in San Marco, another area hit hard by Hurricane Irma. Rob?
Here in San Marco, they are still in the dark as the sun comes up, without power inside the homes. They're going on more than 48 hours without power and could be up to a week. Also, still standing water along San Marco Boulevard here. These police cruisers behind me are here to make sure no vehicles go down. And please, if you see vehicles or any caution tape up around a street in this area, don't go beyond those barriers, or don't try to. I saw one truck try to drive down, and of course, these police officers stopped him as quickly as they could and had him go in the opposite direction. As residents do try to get into this area and they go inside their homes, yesterday was the first day that they got a look at some of that flooding damage. There was waterlogged floors, cabinets, and dishes everywhere from one resident that let us go into her home. And Caroline Davidson says it was a tough week aside from flooding.
I lost my job. I got my wisdom teeth taken out this week. Now my home is ruined. So there's a lot that's, happened, but they say what doesn't kill you, makes you stronger. So I'm trying to stay positive and hope for the best.
A positive perspective that we can all learn from. She was a tenant in that apartment, but she says her parents are actually the owners, so they have a long road ahead of them as they try to figure out how to repair that building. Reporting live in San Marco, I'm Rob Nesbitt, First Coast News on your side. I'm going to send things over to Dorsina Drakeford, who is in Clay County. Good morning, Dorsina.
Good morning, Rob. We are at Black Creek right now, and behind me is this tree. This is a site that we've seen in a lot of places around Clay County and around Florida. This site here, this tree, but if you look closely, you can see that there is electricity lines coming down, and obviously a very dangerous situation, but something that we've also seen when we went on a boat tour yesterday to kind of see the area around Black Creek is this here, this low-lying power line. When we were on the boat yesterday, the water was so high we could pretty much reach out and touch these with our hands. Very dangerous situation, but they are aware out here and they're trying to get that repaired as soon as possible. Just a second ago, a guy came out, he's a resident here, and he told us his house, which is right behind these trees here, had 15 inches of water in his home. So it's definitely something that a lot of people here in Clay County are dealing with, especially since there was historic flooding, crested at 28.5 feet yesterday morning. So obviously something that a lot of people are dealing with and still having to deal with now. But yesterday we did get a chance to speak to people who were boating back to their homes just to see exactly what damage was done. We spoke to Kevin Davis. Here's what he had to say about preparation for the flood.
We had planned on staying, and we were prepping for staying and not for leaving. So when we left, we literally were just throwing handfuls of clothes in bags and grabbing just whatever we could think of at the last minute because we were offered a boat ride from a neighbor. So it was not well thought out.
So some good thing that we have seen is that the water has receded here since we've been standing here since about 4:30 this morning. So it used to be where we're standing now, and now it is about a quarter of a mile back. I don't know if you're able to see that where our car is, but it's past that vehicle there. So there's good news here that this water is receding. The power, they're working to get that back on. And later today at around 9 o'clock, we're going to meet up with Governor Rick Scott and get a boat tour of Clay County and Black Creek just to see a little bit more of the damage. A lot of work that needs to be done is what we're hearing, and a lot of resilience that we're also seeing from the people here in Florida. We'll send it back to you in the newsroom, Monica. Good morning.
Well, good morning, Dorsina. Hopefully some good news today. I'm Monica Garcia, live in the newsroom. Today, the mayor is expected to make an announcement about relief funding coming our way. But in the meantime, the mayor is focusing on bringing the city together and really getting things back to normal as much as we possibly can right now. Those three variables, funding, unity, and recovery, is what will lie ahead over the next few days, even into the months that it will take to rebuild the city. The mayor is expected to provide more information about this funding later today at 10 a.m. Yesterday, the mayor stayed busy. First, he was with Governor Rick Scott as the two went on an aerial tour across the First Coast to assess flooded areas. And then in the afternoon, the mayor was with the Jaguars. It's been officially announced that the Jaguars' home opener against the Tennessee Titans will go on this Sunday at Everbank Field. Shad Khan is donating $1 million to the Florida First Coast Relief Fund to help in the aftermath of Hurricane Irma. Mayor Curry, a former accountant, talked to the Today Show yesterday morning about coming up with money to fund the recovery.
I don't have cost estimates, but I can tell you this: we have very financially stable and secure budgets. We are on firm financial ground. We have reserves. We went through Matthew, and we are able to fund the needs that we have to begin rebuilding and recovering.
So going back to the decision to have the Jags home opener at Everbank Field this Sunday, the mayor says the game isn't about football, but about uniting the city and really getting things back to normal. From the newsroom, I'm Monica Garcia, First Coast News, on your side.
All right, looking forward to that Jags football game on Sunday, but first things first, we still have some swollen creeks, rivers. The news is better, though, in Spuds. On Deep Creek, Hastings, you've got a sunny high of 88 today, and that drier air will help evaporation rates. So notice we do have some flood warnings. Also, another area of concern toward Middleburg. Maybe a sunny, beautiful day, but be careful along Blanding Boulevard. Katie will have more on that because we're still seeing a latest level at 21.3 feet. Likely not falling back in the normal range for another couple of days. Now we take a look at the flood warning out toward I-75. This is of most concern. These areas along the Santa Fe, High Springs, sunny today, but look at that water still rising about a foot between now and Friday. So that could be a record crest of 35.9 feet. So this is the area to watch that may not get back to normal until later next week. And then we go to St. George and McClenny with a high of 89 today. Good news on the St. Mary's as well, like the Black Creek. Starting to fall. In fact, getting back home, it looks like by Thursday based on the latest maps. In fact, let's take a look at the 7-day forecast. And we got plenty of sunshine. We'll start to see an increase in storms, especially Thursday, Friday, but nothing widespread or heavy. In fact, most rain amounts will stay less than a ½ inch across the area. And then we've got some great football for our Jags, Katie.
That's great to hear, Mike. So let's get right to it on your roadways there. Like Mike was saying, if you're traveling along Blanding near County Road 220, there is some water on the road there, so that's why you're seeing delays. You want to use US 17 this morning instead. US 17 is just a better bet. Now, it's heavy on the Buckman Bridge because that right lane there is blocked by an accident as you make your way towards the Mandarin area, so build in an extra 15 minutes if you can. Also, the Browns Creek Bridge there along Heckscher, that is still blocked at the moment. So if you're trying to get into or out of Amelia Island, it's a long detour, but you need to use State Road 200 at least until the Mayport, or rather the St. John's River Ferry reopens. Don't forget that I-95 and I-75 increased traffic today and likely tomorrow as you have all of those power trucks, fuel trucks, and evacuees returning. Back to you.
All right, let's get to your school closures really quickly. In Georgia, Brantley, Charlton, and Pierce are closed through today. Camden County schools are closed through Thursday, and Glenn County is closed the rest of the week.
In Florida, Bradford, Clay, Duval, Nassau, St. John's, and Union are all closed through today. Baker and Columbia County are closed through Thursday, and Putnam County is closed through Friday. UNF will open on Thursday. FSCJ will open on Monday. We're told districts are still surveying possible damage to schools. And just a quick note that I want to pass on. Memorial Park is going to do a cleanup today starting at 8 o'clock. Bring gloves a rake, and wear closed-toed shoes to help clean up Memorial Park.
All right, things improving from Memorial Park in downtown along the river tide. Still about a foot or two above average, but the worst is over near Jacksonville. Just be careful to the west toward the Santa Fe. The weather cooperating.
Middleburg area, be very careful along Blanding. Seeing some flooding there along Blanding. Use US 17 instead.
All right, we'll see you in 30 minutes with another update. Be safe out there.